Hey, welcome to the shop. Glad to have you over. You know, I'm goofing off today. I've got a project coming up in my mind, and in the meantime, I've got to do a little cleanup. It'd be turn the heat on in the shop, which is stoke up the wood stove, and throw some scrap wood in it because I got scrap wood everywhere. Let's get rid of that. And then you run into pieces that's like, well, this isn't scrap. Well, what are you going to do with it? I don't know. Well, I just did this cutting board, cherry and maple cutting board thing. And this sort of fits into that genre. So I think I'm going to do the same thing. Practically the same thing. Just glue some strips of cherry on the sides of these two pieces. The only difference is I'm going to split these things down to, I'll probably end up with 5/16 inch. Nice, like a plate. Little rectangle. A little shape in the end. I'm probably going to do that hide shape in the end because I'm kind of fascinated by it. Anyway, so I'm going to rip these things straight. This was one piece of wood. It was humped, it was curved, it was crooked. I've got it flattened and split in half, and I'm going to slice it up. Put a machine sawn edge, all four edges, call it straight. I've got my little help me with my rip straight trick with the level. That's not that hard. It's beautiful. Best edge I've ever got. Now this one's both the other way. I think I'll start this way. Typical pieces of wood like this, crooked and twisted and whatnot, it when I split it down the middle, it opened in a funny way. They always do. I don't know what's really funny about that, but that's what they do. Okay, I can get a little more out of it. Nuts. Alright, do that a couple more times, 2 to be exact. These will be prepared. I'll make cut up some cherry strips. It'll be super. Alright, in a little bit. Yeah, a little more. Beautiful. All right. Oh, see? Wow. There are just so many ways of doing things, but that decent blade and you know, that extra little bit of a setup with the longer fence, which is that's something, isn't it? Obviously, you can see I cut these two boards this out of one, and there it is. Beautiful thing. That's nice. So those are straight, those are ripped. Now I need 4 3-foot long pieces of cherry. They don't have to be very thick. Don't have to be very thick. Got an inch. An inch would make these things, I don't even know. An inch would make these about 7 1/4 in width. That seems good. So let's go hunting for some cherry. Be back. So I'm up here in part of the rack of things that don't fit downstairs. You know, leftovers, and things just showed up. Bunch of pieces of cherry here. I'm going to see if I can find something in that pile. So I was up in the rack and I found this. This was going to be a turning square. It was part of a series of pieces that were turning squares, and this didn't cut the mustard. It came out as a turning triangle, which actually doesn't work out that well. Anyways, great for me. I've got 35, this is 36, and I can get, you know, a bunch of 1-inch pieces off this. 2 and 2. I can get 4 that have mostly this heart. 4 with mostly this heart. So I need to, well, slab off 2 1/8 by 2 1/4. All right. Well, this piece is a, you know, proverbial elephant. I don't know how I'm going to deal with it. Okay, I may only be able to get 3 out of it. I've got a backup piece over there, and that's how this is going to fly. All right, let's, geez, that seems odd that I can't get 1, 2, 3, 4 1-inch strips off this. There's something wrong. 4 1-inch by 1-inch strips. Yeah, 1-inch by 1-inch. 1-inch by 1-inch. Yeah. Change all of this. All right, there's a moment. I need 3 by 3. 2 1/2 by 2 1/2 is all I need. 2 1/2 by 2 1/2 is all I need. Simple. All right, here we go. Well, I've got this piece. It's kind of crooked. All right, so we've got this piece. It's kind of crooked. I think I'm going to whittle it down, sort of like that proverbial, how do you eat an elephant? You know, bite at a time. So I, you know, stand corrected on the mathematical calculations. I need something about 1-inch by 1-inch 4 times, which is basically about something 2 inches by 2 inches, which table saw math and crooked and have to straighten it, it's going to turn into 2 1/2 by 2 1/2, thereabouts. So that's my first task, is to try to get a 2 1/2 by 2 1/2 out of that. And then we'll deal with that piece. And at least it'll be square. So I just set my saw, because I'm not sure of anything, I just set my saw to cut 2 3/4. And we'll see how that goes. Okay. little bandsaw action, and I'll have this in pieces. Be right back. Bandsaw. Yeehaw. All right. Well, as you can imagine how a turning square turning into a turning triangle works out, it's just, I guess the thing you'd known the whole time, it's just way too much. This corner piece over here is going to be all white wood. And it just doesn't fit in with the plan. I want the color of the cherry. So, in steps another chunk of something left over from some goddamn time. Don't know what, don't know when. But I've got this. And I should be able to find a 35, 36-inch piece in this. And then I'll work this into a piece. It'd be great. And in the meantime, I'm converting stuff into the thing that needs to happen, which is firewood, because I need to get some of this stuff out of the shop. I've got more wood here than I'll ever in my life use. Which is great, but you know, it weighs on you. Anyway, see you in a bit. Boy. Ah. Better. Right. Back to the planer. Bring those pieces down to 15/16. Be great. All right, now you know, I've got these things all down to the same thickness. The thickness of the sides, right around 15/16. They're teeny bit thicker. I don't care. And rock and roll time. Wow, they are a teeny bit thicker. Maybe I do care. Should I care? When I glue that strip on, if I'm high, I'm going to have to fight with it. You know, I think this is the time to be prudent and take another pass in the planer, just to make these all that thin or thinner. Be right back. I love being prudent. I'm old. All right, here we go. These get manufactured into 1-inch strips. I need 4 of them. This will get 1 out of because of that. This will get 1 out of because of that. This will get 2 out of because, you know, I get 2 out of that one. That'll give me 4, and everything will be great. So these are the same 15/16 that I think, let's be prudent. I love this. Let's put a pencil mark that says this is the face. This is the 15/16 side, no matter what happens from this point. That's great. All right, now the trick is, how much do I get out of this one? I could go 1 1/8. I will go 1 1/8, which is practically what it's set for now. There it is. And I need to be 15/16 of an inch blade up. That looks good. I should get a push stick because, you know, be prudent. Alright, it's a crappy push stick, but it'll work. Here we go. Love it. I am going to put a single mark on the edge of these that I just sawed. I'm not sure exactly what that means, but I may end up putting the just sawed edge against the stock on each one of these things. So there I am, 4 strips, 2 plates. This is, you see this energy, this thing. Okay, let's take it down, clear some space on the bench, and get these things glued up. See you there. So, hey, all right, it's glue up time. I'm mixing some glue, 100 turns, 60 turns a minute. And then add some filler. I don't think I've got quite enough. I'm using this, I don't know what it is, high density filler. It feels like soft. I don't know what it is. I don't think I care. It just says high density. I want a filler. I want this stuff to be a little bit more than just liquid. Like a little filling. Now, I'm going to give that filling a little bit of a zing after I mix it in. Here's a trick for Uncle Dave. When you mix in a filler or something into your epoxy, mix your epoxy completely first. So that what you're mixing is epoxy that's going to guaranteed set with the stuff, rather than the other way around. Makes sense. So I've got a brush. I'm going to brush it out so I don't have too much. I've got this ready to rock here. Oh yes, color. I was going to put a dab of color in it. Putting a dab of color in means you end up walking around with the color in your hands for the next week. Reddish brown. I think that's what I want. Just a dot. Maybe 2. Oh, geez. That's a lot. Okay. I don't really care. It's fine. Anything's going to be fine. I don't care if it was black. Yeah, a little. But this is fine. That's deep. Wow. Love it. And like everything else, everything's mixed. Then you add this and then you mix that. Watch it. You got it. I'm sure. All right. And that's way more than I need, and that's great. I won't run out. Okay. One of the reasons that I like to put a filler in it is to make it thicker so it stands up a little bit more. And what that does is it means that I can coat both surfaces. And I don't have to worry about it running all off while I'm doing the second one, because there's always that takes extra time part. So here I am. I am wetting all of the surface. I love this glue. It's never failed. As long as you mix it, keep the temperature up, blah, blah, blah. But getting all of the surfaces wetted just seems like a good thing. All I'm going to have for control on this joint is the glue. There's no grooves, there's no dowels, there's no biscuits, there's no dominoes, nothing. Just glue. So I need to give the glue the best chance it can. That's making absolutely certain that I've got a bulletproof surface on every part that's touching. Okay, I'm going to do that. I'm going to tip this on edge. I know, you can't see this one. Use your imagination. It looks just like the other. Pardon me if I stick my tongue out while I'm doing this. I don't know what that is. It's like back in the old days we used to apply this stuff with our tongues, right? Funny. So there I am. I've got a nice, it's not hugely thick. It's not going to gush everywhere, but it's a good, solid, full contact. So all I have to do is get these things lined up and close enough together to touch glue to glue. Okay, now here we go. I'm going to pop this down. I've got some sacrificial pieces that I'm going to put on the edges so I don't make a mess of my piece, because it's nearly finished at this point. So I'm going to temporarily do that. I am going to semi-permanently do this. Now you can see what I'm doing. I'm holding this down to the pipe. Using the, I mean, this is fast and loose. I'm using the pipe as my straightening surface. There we go. And seeing as how I got these two pieces to clamp for the day, I'm going to do it this way. Pop that now and slide it down a little. Come on, come on. There we go. There we go, like that. Again, holding it down to the pipe. There's that. Now this is the end. There we go, that one's glued. All right, move on to the next one. Huh, those are cute. All right, so that. Something like that. Yeah, something like that. Okay. These two pieces will go tither and yawn. Good, good. It's all going according to plan. All right, this I want to open up a little bit because I got some sacrifice strips to put in. I'm only doing two pieces, so I didn't have to set this up ahead of time. You know, that fast and loose sort of thing. Because this is, two pieces aren't going to get away from me. Although it's pretty close to the end of the batch on the glue, so at some point it's going to come back and bite me in the ass, I'm sure. Stuff. Just too much stuff in the way. Okay. That looks good. Looks good. I got a little you know, I can see something there. Next clamp will take care of that. All right. And so that's back, and that's back. Pop that out. Take this up. Boy, this kind of reminds me almost of Resource and All. Remember that? God, we glued up a lot of stuff with Resource and All. Boats, countertops. It was great. Hard, flinty hard. I think, as I recall, they used it in marine plywood back in the day. So therefore, we thought it was, you know, the bee's knees. Maybe that's what I'm thinking about. We used to see that red tint in the glue lines in our maple countertops. Why we made maple countertops, I have no idea, but we did. It always seemed like they wanted too much money for them if you wanted to go and buy them. They were really hard to do. We lost our shirts, I'm sure, on every one. Now, as you no doubt predicted, I'm going to have plenty of glue left over. Good. Sometimes, you know, when I'm clever, I've got something lined up. But I don't. And that's just as well. Go home. All right. There's that. There's that. I'm going to, once again, temporarily just throw this one here, just because it's close to the middle and balanced. And now I'll jump down here, pull this closer to the end. Press these three pieces down to the pipe because that's what I'm using because I'm going fast and loose. There's that. And I'll throw this on because it's cute. Pow. Now I'll pull this one, slide this all down just a smidge. How can that be all the time? Like that. There we go. And throw this one on. And that'll be a wrap for the day. Which is no problems. I'll think of something to do. All right. Now if I don't, I have the luxury of just going home now. If I don't do anything about it, those little gobbets of epoxy that dripped onto the table will just snap right off because they will stick only to the dust. If I try to get them up, they'll smush them and smash them and it'll be a project. So leave them like that, they'll harden, they'll come off tomorrow. Wait and see. All right, see you tomorrow. Thanks for watching.